Okay, so here's what I wanted to present tonight. We're gonna do ad hoc, what is that crap called? Potatoes au gratin. Right, so I've got red potatoes, are all sliced up here in thin little, I don't know what you'd call these, wafers. What I'm planning to do with these is I've got more or less of a brine developing here inside the pot. And now what's inside there is a mixture of cracked pepper. We have Himalayan pink sea salt, which if you're not familiar with, there really is a difference between that and your normal table salt or kosher salt. One, in terms of potency. Secondly, just in terms of general taste and flavor profile, it's a very subtle difference, but you do notice it. In addition to that, I've added some dried organic rosemary. We've got some basil, and I believe there was something else I put inside there, but again, it's a small component. It won't be very prevalent inside the taste of the potatoes, because this basically is going to be boiled inside here, which is going to cook the potatoes through and allow them to absorb the flavors of, what do you call it? This whatever is boiling. Also, in addition to that, what I forgot to add was the delicious imported Italian olive oil. Now this is going to help to keep the potatoes separated, but it's also going to add a nice little flavor profile to our boiled potatoes when we finish them off in the oven. Now, personally, what I believe is one of the most important ingredients to cooking is one of your finest bottles of wine. Now, personally, I prefer Ménage à Trois. It's fantastic. I'm not a wine enthusiast by any measure, but I do have a pretty good palate, I'd like to think. And this is a blend. It's a red wine from California. What's the blend? Let's see, let's describe it. Fresh, ripe, jam-like fruit. That is a calling card of California wine. Forward, silky, soft, and approachable. A delightful blend based on 3 varietals: Zinfandel, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. So basically, drinking this wine is really fantastic because it's not very dry. I like the dryness of the Cabernet. But it's got a very nice body to it, and it's just really, to me, in my opinion, it's the best wine I've had in my fucking life. And you can't beat the price. At $9 on sale, at the very most, we're talking $13 a bottle. What's up, nigga? That's right. Alright, so in addition to the potatoes, we're going to have chopped red onions, chopped white onions, and I believe some baby portobello mushrooms. Now, why do I have 2 separate onions? Well, they both have different flavor profiles. The white onions are going to have a higher, more acidic note. The sweet onions, obviously, as the name implies, it's going to be sweeter. It's going to be more mellow taste. So combining the two, obviously, you're going to have a potatoes grilling. We got the mushrooms ready to be chopped. We got this fucking onion melody. Some asparagus, which I'll get to later. But yeah, the potatoes have come outside the pot. Unfortunately, I fucked up. I didn't get them into slices like potatoes, as that's expected, as a traditional potato au gratin is supposed to be. But we'll make it work. It's going to look delish. Chopping the mushrooms. I think a thin chop is nice. Now, I'm not talking too thin because we don't want to have them cooked too thoroughly. We want to keep the integrity of the mushroom, make sure that they have a softness, but also that they have a body to it, that it's not just mushy, crappy, whatever, mushrooms. You have to remember, one of the ingredients of cooking is texture. I think texture is one of the most important ingredients. Texture, smell, taste, visual appearance, and the 5th one, smell, if I didn't mention that already. So, that's where we're at. So we've got our onion mix with the portobello mushroom medley. We've got the butter, and the sexy olive oil. We're just going to give this a nice turnaround, make sure everything cooks nice and even. This is all prep work, because what's going to happen is we're going to combine this sexy mess with this hot mess inside this piece of shit, and then we're going to adorn it with our herb spices and a mix of Romano cheese and some feta cheese, and then bake that. So it's my version of potatoes au gratin. Okay, so some of you may be wondering what's going on with the steak. This is a pretty choice meat. My personal favorite is the ribeye. I find it has the most flavorful profile. Lots of fat, so make sure you get a steak with lots of marbling. There's a lot of good meat on here, and it just, honestly, in my opinion, it tastes the best, and it's one you should get. This is boneless. So what I've done, it's marinated with a mixture of rock salt, Himalayan pink salt, salt and pepper, garlic powder. I did a 1/4 cup of smoked liquid, which is liquid smoked, I should say. And I added some other crazy shit that I can't remember. But basically, you want to let this sit for an hour. We had it covered in plastic in the fridge. And the reason behind this is you want to make sure that the meat stays cool. Because what we're going to do is we're going to flash fry it in a cast iron pan. And when you have that cool meat, it allows you to cook the meat at a very high temperature to give you that nice crisp black look on the outside of the meat while retaining the nice pink interior. So we're going to flash fry it and then finish it off inside the oven. Colonel, you a bitch ass nigga! Alright, so we got the cast iron skillet. It's got nice oil on it. I forgot to show you what we're doing with the... What the fuck? Are you serious? What? Party monster died. This is my Ghetto potato au gratin. You saw how it was made. We got very simple. It's all very simple. Fucking asparagus, salt and pepper, and we have Parmesan cheese. It's gonna be fucking legit. Now, time to cook the motherfucking stizzle. Now, take all black asses out of here. Master Colonel, you a bitch ass nigga. Take all black asses out of here. Oh, really important about grilling a steak that's been marinating in juice is to make sure you pat this motherfucker dry, okay? Because if you drop a wet piece of steak onto a hot grill, you're not gonna get that crisp, sexy black look. Unless you want that ashy, leery look on your steak, you ain't gonna get it unless you pat it dry. I think it's self-explanatory why. A dry piece of meat hitting a hot pan of hot oil is gonna have a higher tendency to crisp up and really just get a beautiful texture. If it's wet and moist, something we want in other areas of our life with other people and other situations, then it's gonna be just a tepid looking Denny's type of steak. And unless you want a Denny's type of steak off a $20 piece of meat, I mean, you can do that by all means. But I'm trying to shit on Outback Steakhouse. I'm telling you right now, I make the best steak I've ever had in my life. And I paid for steaks up to $40 for a cut of 9 ounce, which has been not terrible, but definitely not better than what you can make at home. Cast iron skillets, they're where they're at. Why? It's because they hold a lot of heat. And that's the whole point about flash frying. We want to make sure that it's high heat, high temperature, because we want to cook the outside. That's all we're doing. And this is going to be maybe a 2-minute process at max on each side. And then we're going to finish the bake inside the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes if you're looking for medium well, which is a a light pink, maybe a little bit more than light pink. The reason I like to cook it medium or medium well is because I anticipate having to eat it the next day and finishing it off in the microwave, which would mean it would cook thoroughly more through, and I don't want to have a fully cooked piece of meat the next day. So, dry that meat, compress it. Caramel Mountain what? Okay. And sometimes I like to lick the meat. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I like it anyway. I give it a nice. Boom. This is gonna smoke the shit out of your house, unless you have a ventilation shaft, which I am not turning on because we have a fucking shaft that doesn't have a tube that goes outside the house. It just blows air like to the opposite end of the kitchen. So what's the point? I'm just gonna bask in the ambience. Now another tip that I like to do is to compress the meat together. And by compress the meat, I mean reduce the surface area of the meat on the pan as much as possible. So that allows for maximum concentration of heat to the most, or to the least exposed amount of area of meat, if that makes dramatic sense. Starting to lose myself because of the menage a trois. So we'll get back to you. That's how you know you cooked a steak properly. When shit is smoking and shit is looking fucking delish. It'll look a lot better when it's cut up and prepared though, I promise. Yeah, this is a really good sign too. I know how to cook, I promise. Let's probably put this out. Alright, so beautiful ass fucking steak. Fucking beautiful! Oh god, it's so good. The best part, I don't know what this part is called, but it's like the one piece that's like the thinnest, or not the thinnest, but the smallest part of the tenderloin, not tenderloin, the fucking ribeye. This shit is fucking money though. Save that for me. So what I like to do is I like to cut, not straight down, but I like to cut at an angle. It gives beautiful presentation. And what I also do is I let the meat sit for 15 minutes. Now this allows the juices to stay inside the meat, allowing the texture to remain nice and moist on the inside. And when I cut into it, none of the juices, or I should say hardly any of the juices come out. And that's really where the flavor is at. The flavor of the meat, the flavor of anything you cook, it's all in the fat, baby. It's about the fat. That's what, isn't that what Emerald said? It's about the bacon fat, baby! Anyways, that's how you do it. Okay? We'll get to part 2 coming up. Or 3 or 4 or wherever the fuck we are. I'm drunk as shit. It's really ghetto when you cook it. Okay, but then the final step, of course, to cooking all this delicious fucking beautifulness is presentation. Presentation is everything. Look how beautiful that is. And In-N-Out Burger has the secret ingredient to this. The secret ingredient is quality. If you have quality ingredients, you have a quality meal. You can't make a fucking shit burger with Kobe beef, alright? I mean, even if you know how to cook, that burger is gonna taste fucking delicious. Now, if I gave you fucking Kraft cheese and like some weird hybrid like half cow shit and pig shit, quote, hamburger meat, like, and sold it to you as beef and then told you to cook it and make a hamburger, it would taste like shit no matter what chef you are. So remember, buy quality ingredients as often as possible and do as little as possible to them. Salt, pepper, basic herbs, knowing how to cook, proper temperature, texture, presentation, that's it, dude. Anybody can do it. It takes time. It's like music. I don't fucking really know how to produce music, but I make sure at least I choose quality sounds and I try to put them together and make it sound coherent. So my tip to you, love you.